What is going on, YouTube? Back with another episode of After the Whistle with me, myself, and I, Texas alumni, and Jaden Valentine.
I'm Terry Porter today.
Oh, he is Terry Porter today.
Terry Porter.
Do I know? Is he an NBA player?
Yeah, he's an NBA player.
That name sounds so familiar.
Really? You don't recognize that name?
I did. It sounds like a coach.
I think he is a coach now.
Yeah, he used to coach the Blazers.
He used to play for the Blazers. He might have coached the Blazers. I don't know.
He was a white dude, right?
No, black guy.
Oh, maybe I think of somebody else. But we're back in another episode of After the Whistle. We are almost at 50 subs. So that is a big mark for us. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, get some people, tell your aunts, friends, cousins, moms, dads, subscribe for some great basketball content. Definitely gonna keep shooting it out to you guys. What's up?
Aunt and aunt are the same thing.
Oh my! No, don't clip that for TikTok. No, not another TikTok clip.
We got another clip.
We got another viral clip. Damn it! Oh man. But so yeah, we're gonna get straight into it. Do you want to get into the John Stockton topics?
Bro, we're gonna bring this up, and this is
okay. So let me give it some context first.
No. All right, yeah, give your context.
So some context for you guys that don't know. We made a TikTok about John Stockton, and we had said that he was a bad player. We said that he was overrated. Stats were inflated in his career, and we received a lot of I don't know if you call it hate, but we received a lot of backlash for it. People were saying we didn't know what we were talking about. People were saying we're too young. Mind you, I'm 37. So I know a thing or two about basketball. But yeah, people were saying we're too young, don't know what we're talking about. We're talking out of we're talking out of the hole in the back. And we had even people drop their addresses to come play basketball so they can beat us. First off, and me and Jaden, any 2-on-2, I don't know, because I'm a pretty big guy.
We're basically like Cam Thomas and Nicholas Claxton in the pick and roll. They're not guarding us.
Exactly. So the guy that dropped their address, we're coming. But it says Martin Luther King, so I don't know. That sounds like it's a bad area. Usually places that are labeled. Labeled like Martin Luther King or like Springs or Gardens. It's usually in a hood. So MLK Drive. It's usually a bad place. So we're here to kind of clear the air on a lot of that stuff and really clap back at a lot of you guys. So I'm gonna let you go first, Jaden. I'm gonna let you take off on that.
All right, we're about to make this like a 3-minute TikTok video after we make this. We're gonna clip this. All right,
exactly.
Basically, in the clip you saw, we were talking about the best Jazz player of all time. My co-host here said John Stockton. I said John Stockton's not that good. He's not that good. Not that good of a player. Overrated. All right, Karl Malone is their best player of all time. Yeah, he did some bad stuff, but that still doesn't take away from the fact that he is the best player of all time. I don't like John Stockton. I think he's an overrated player. I think he's borderline top 75. Okay, he's borderline top 75. Just because maybe like 5 years ago, yeah, he is top 75. He might be top 50, but there's been a lot of good players that come up and are on the come up. He's kind of on that back end of that 75 list for me now. All right. But he's overrated. If you go back and look, you got to look at the context of everything. All right. Context. Like, yes, he has a lot of inflated stats, but someone like Jason Kidd probably would have passed him. Someone like Chris Paul probably would have passed him in these stats if they didn't have injuries. All right. John Stockton played a lot of games. They played a military style, play style out there. All right. You had to play every single game. That's what
especially
they
back then.
that's what they talked about. No, just on those Jazz teams. That's what they promoted. You had to have the same haircut all the time. You had to keep everything the same. All right. That's why they're so consistent. They just played every single minute and tried their hardest. All right. Which is great. That's the context, though. That's why he has so much these stats. All right. But basketball is not all about stats. We have to look about winning and rewards and all the other stuff going into it. Okay. John Stockton never had an MVP, never had a defensive player of the year, never won a finals, never been a finals MVP. When we have other players who have, making him not really a top 50 player of all time. All right, that's what I gotta say. We have, I think it's like what, 37 different MVP winners of all time, and people are gonna sit there and tell me, oh yeah, he's a top point guard of all time. A lot of people will have John Stockton as the second best point guard of all time, like behind Magic Johnson. No, first off, Curry's way better. And we got to also look at the playoff stats. All right.
Right.
First off, his career in the playoffs is 13 points and 10 assists. Don't get me wrong, 10 assists is great. That's great. But that is Chris Paul on the Suns level stats right there. All right, come on now. He is a great player, but I will say this about John Stockton: he is the best role player of all time. All right, he is the best role player. He played his role. He did really good at it. Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. He played those passing lanes. All right, you know why he's playing those passing lanes? Because he don't guard the best player on the team. Exactly. Oh, 10-time all defensive team. He's not guarding the best player on the team. He's not guarding Michael Jordan.
Wait. Are you sure he made 10?
I'm pretty sure it's 10.
Are you sure?
You can look it up.
When I looked at it, I saw 5. So
it might have been 5. It might have been 5. I might be wrong.
He made 5-time all defensive.
Okay, 5-time all defensive. Then it's 10-time all star. Then I think.
So basically, he.
Wait, I gotta keep going. Okay,
yeah.
I gotta keep going. So he's not guarding their best player on the team. People will be like, "Oh, he's one of the best on-ball defenders of all time. Look, he's on the steals list." No. He's guarding that bummy role player point guard because in the 90s and in the late 80s, there were some great point guards out there, but the point guard position really wasn't that great quite yet. It was more that shooting guard and centered. All right. Absolutely. You had great players like Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson, but John Stockton not guarding Magic Johnson. Isaiah Thomas really the only opponent really in the late 80s. That I can think of off the top of my head. And then you go into the 90s and you have like Gary Payton, which they did battle a couple times.
Penny Hardaway.
Yeah, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I haven't watched any Jazz Magic games, but he didn't really. I would guess he probably would not guard Penny Hardaway.
No. I'm just saying. I'm just giving point guards out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you go back and look in the playoffs and you look at who John Stockton guarded, Kevin Johnson, Terry Porter, who's the guy in the Bulls? What, BJ Armstrong? Was that him?
Yeah, BJ Armstrong was and then you had Ron Harper.
Yeah, Ron Harper too, but that was later. I was talking about like earlier.
You had BJ Armstrong.
Yeah, he's guarding these guys, and don't get me wrong, Terry Porter, Kevin Johnson, really good, and Gary Payton also really good.
Right.
But people don't rank them higher than John Stockton. But look at the playoff stats. They are guarded by John Stockton and have career playoff series against him. Career playoff series. You can go look at the numbers. They all play better, have higher true shooting percentage than him, more points, more assists. You go look, they have more assists than this guy. That's crazy to me. In these playoff series against him. It's insane. Do you know the Jazz have a losing record with John Stockton in the playoffs? A losing record. They have lost in the first round more than they've been to the conference finals. And if you look, they have home court advantage in these first round matchups. That's crazy. And you're going to sit here and tell me he's like one of the best point guards of all. He is one of the best point guards of all time. Don't get me wrong. He is one of the best point guards of all time.
I don't think he leaves the top 5.
I don't think he's top 5. I don't think so.
So did you take Russ over him?
It's a debate, but I I gotta make my list. I don't know. That's kind of where
Because
that I would rank him in that area though.
the one A and the one B is Curry and Magic. That's the one A and one B.
Yes.
It doesn't go out of there.
Yes.
And then me personally, I don't mean to cut you off. Me personally, I've always said Isaiah Thomas.
I think Isaiah Thomas is better than John Stockton. Yes.
He has the 2 rings, and he was just an overall good player. I'm gonna let you get back to your point.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, like, and for people that are saying, "Oh well, the numbers don't lie. He has the most assists. He has the most steals," which is great and all. But to my point that I was, rebuttaling with, Kareem held the all-time scoring record for 40 years. But how many people said that he was not the greatest scorer of all time? We put guys ahead of him, Kobe, and we said Jordan was the greatest scorer of all time, even though Kareem had the record for all those years. LeBron has the record right now, and we still say Jordan is we still say Jordan is a better scorer. We still say Kobe is a better scorer. Tracy McGrady, Kevin Durant, Carmelo Anthony,
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird. The list goes on and on and on. But LeBron has a record. So why is he not the best scorer of all time? But
let me give you the word of the day. Context.
That's what I was trying to get.
That's the word of the day.
Like John Stockton, did he have the most steals of all time? Yes, he does. Will that record ever be broken? Probably not. I'm just going to be honest. I mean, the assist numbers, I don't know. Though man, like the next closest is 3,000. But like I was telling people earlier in like comment sections and stuff, that just because he has the most assists, we don't consider him the greatest playmaker. Who do we consider to be the greatest playmaker or one of the greatest playmakers? Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
We say Magic Johnson before him. We say Jason Kidd before him. We say Chris Paul before him. We'll even say LeBron James.
Definitely.
Good, bad, or like, let's take all the bias aside right now. Whether you hate LeBron James and you think he's the worst player and he cries all the time, he flops, or you think LeBron James is the GOAT, he's the greatest player to ever touch a basketball. Put the bias aside. You cannot doubt the man's passing ability. And we talk about him being a great passer and how he's one of the better all time. So John Stockton's name gets brought down the list because we talk about even I might even say right now it's a debate, but when it's all said and done, when this guy retires, he might be a better playmaker. You can even argue he's a better playmaker right now while he's still playing Nikola Jokic. Joker. You can say he's a better playmaker than John Stockton. But even though John Stockton
better than John Stockton,
when that's all said and done, they'll add another 2 names onto the list. Like, for context,
Tyus Jones,
DeJounte Murray led the league in steals.
Yeah.
Do we consider him a perennial on-ball defender? No. Steph Curry led the league in assists Curry led the league in steals one year. But do we consider Steph Curry to be a perennial on-ball defender? No. Curry is and we're not sitting here trying to say that John Stockton is one of the worst defenders of all time, but
he's overrated.
We recognize, maybe we shouldn't have said that he was a bum because we recognize his greatness. You know what I mean? But there's context behind that, and how easy is it to get assists when you play with Mr. Nasty Man? You play with Karl Malone, when back then was a heavy power forward center era, and Karl Malone has the 3rd most points all time. So how hard is it to really get assists, to rack up? You can rack up 8 assists alone just passing to him. Just
put me in the pick and roll. Put me in the pick and roll, because that's all he ran was pick and roll back then. If you go back, that's all he did. It was because the system. That's how he got all his assists. Put me in the pick and roll with Karl Malone. I'm throwing it up to him, lobbing it up every time. Absolutely. Not guarding me. Not guarding him.
I just think you have to use context. John Stockton, yes, in my opinion, I believe he is he's good, bad, or indifferent, top 8. Can you agree on top 8? He's a top 8 point guard.
Point guard?
Point
Yeah,
guard.
he's probably somewhere in there.
He's somewhere between the 5 and 8 range. But can you seriously sit here and say John Stockton is one of the top 5 on-ball defenders? No, you can't. He was just really pesky. He played with his hands. He was
and he's really dirty. Lane. People will tell you that.
And he also played in the era where you can hand check people. So I mean, like, stats I feel like are a little bit skewered in terms of like defense, because it's I can play defense on some of those point guards if I can put my hand on your waist like that. If I can and tell you where I want you to go and dictate where I want you to go for the full game, I can probably rack up some steals too.
I'm strapping John Stockton. I don't care. I'm
strapping him. And the thing
is about you got no ball. You got no bag. No bag.
And a lot of it came from the older generation, some from the newer generation. But the newer generation only saw the record and was like, oh my God, he must have been great. But the older generation, you guys have to understand that times are different now. Like, is the NBA a little bit lax and soft with the calls? You could argue yes. But the NBA
is a Sixer fan. I can confirm they are really soft with the calls.
The NBA is in the old look. We're gonna get mad with this, Jaden. The NBA now is way more skillful than what it was back then. You might disagree, but now think about it this way: centers back. You could have 2 centers that couldn't shoot a lick. Mm-hmm. You could have 2 centers out there that couldn't shoot. Trot out 2 centers out there that can't shoot now. I bet you, it's just not going to work. It's not going to work.
Detroit Pistons.
The Detroit Pistons. You see maybe
James Wiseman and freaking Marvin Bagley. Like,
you maybe see a little bit of success like we did with the Cavs. They had, but even Evan Mobley at times can kind of shoot. But the NBA, you no longer can trot out guys like Dennis Rodman in today's NBA. And I recognize Dennis Rodman's greatness. He was a phenomenal rebounder. But you have all these point guards. What can they all do? They could all score the basketball, all drop 30 at the blink of an eye. The NBA is more skillful than what it was back then.
Okay, I will disagree with you on that. Dennis Rodman actually would be good in today's basketball, today's world. He would be good.
Well, I'm saying
he's kind of like a Draymond Green mixed with Nweka Konwu kind of.
Well, I'm only saying that because one, he couldn't. I mean, he would kind of be like a Kevon Looney.
Yeah, literally. He would play a small ball center.
Like, yeah, so Dennis Rodman would be like today's Kevon Looney because he was a phenomenal loon dog.
No, he'd be better Kevon Looney because he could guard guards. He could guard point guards.
Oh, I'm talking about. Are you talking about Bulls? Are we talking about Bulls or Pistons Dennis Rodman? Or both?
Kind of like a mix of both.
Because I feel like Pistons Dennis Rodman was a little bit more agile because he was younger.
Yeah.
Bulls Dennis Rodman was a little bit older. So he kind of, he was guarding weight. He would kind of be like a Bam. And
yeah. More like a Bam.
I feel like he would be like a Bam.
The shooting.
Yeah, I feel like he would be like a Bam. But
okay. Put Dennis Rodman on the Hawks. Put Dennis Rodman on the Warriors.
Like you saw, like the NBA is way more skillful than what it was 20, 30 years ago. Even from the early, in late 2000s, the NBA has changed. The NBA is way more skillful than what it was back then. So again, could we have changed our wording and said Dennis Rodman from being a bad player? Do we think Dennis Rodman is bad? Would you say Dennis Rodman is bad?
No.
We could change our wording. John Stockton is not bad.
He's overrated.
He's just overrated.
Not as good.
Overrated.
When I say he's not good, I mean he's not as good as people say he is.
He's just a little overrated.
I still clamp him though. I'm not even gonna lie.
He's not some.
But he would probably clamp me. So that's
he's not just like. Could you imagine John Stockton guarding Kyrie Irving today?
No. I can't even imagine John Stockton in this league nowadays. He wouldn't work out.
He John.
Imagine
Look,
Ben
look, look,
Simmons being
look, look, look,
6'1" or
look, look, look,
6 foot.
look. You know what's gonna get him
Right.
real mad? This comparison right here. John Stockton today. We're gonna put this in TikTok. John Stockton today would be like TJ McConnell.
Yeah,
Would be like
guess
TJ
so.
McConnell.
I guess
Because
so.
what does TJ McConnell do? He's a great backup point guard, hustles, pesky, plays, but he's
You know what this sounds like? A role player.
just a role player. John Stockton,
a role player.
because in today's
Greatest role player of all time, though.
because in today's NBA, you can't just put John Stockton on. Like even Tyus Jones would cook up John Stockton.
Yeah.
Like, look at today's point guards that
Michael Carter Williams would cook up John Stockton.
We're getting them real mad. They're not ready to have you. There's a lot of players that were hyped back then that there's some players that could play in any era and they'll be fine. There's some players that play in the 90s that would not be able to play today. And that's okay.
John Stockton had Karl Malone, Mark Ian, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Adrian Dantley, 30-point score. Well, 29, I think it was his highest.
Jeff Hornacek.
Yeah, he had some buckets on his team. Never got nowhere.
Yeah.
Couldn't win nothing.
It's just.
And another thing. How are you going to sit here and tell me, oh, John Stockton is a top 3-point guard of all time? John Stockton is one of the best players of all time. I looked this up. Every single year of his career, he was never even consideration for MVP. Never.
That is
never,
true.
Ever.
I was going to say that too. I was going to ask you, like, was he ever voted for the MVP? Like, was he ever in the running for MVP?
I researched John Stockton so much today just so I could prove my points on y'all. John Stockton. Whoa. John Stockton, the highest he's ever been was like number 7 on a random year or whatever. But like, that was the highest. That don't even count. Like, come on now. And the thing is, I know a lot of people probably say, oh, because you got Karl Malone on there who's winning MVPs and a lot higher and stuff, but like, you can have 2 people be in MVP consideration.
Michael and Scotty.
Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. LeBron and D Wade.
Yeah.
Curry and KD.
I think just the
Kobe and Shaq.
I think just the older NBA likes to hold. I think they just like to hold nostalgia for these players and still try to put them in this greatness bubble. And they're not really taking. They downplay today's NBA to uplift what they watched. Yeah. And the league is constantly evolving. The 75th anniversary team, that's cool and all. But a lot of those guys should not be on the list. Like, some of those older generation guys were only on the. Some of those guys that were on the list were only on it because they were like pioneers of our league. That's really it.
I disagree and agree with you, obviously. Because Earl Monroe would cook today. I'm telling you, Earl Monroe would basically be a better Jalen Brunson. That's how I see it. Earl Monroe would cook.
Like Paul Arizin. Like Paul Arizin shouldn't like.
Well, because he was on the original list.
That's what I'm saying. They only keep it because they were the pioneers, or they keep it because he was on the original list. But I don't think they understand. Like, I don't think sometimes the older generation understands that, like, the league is constantly evolving, and there's always going to be great players to come out, and lists are going to change year to year, century to century, decade to decade. It's just going to change, and that's okay. But there's some guys that will stand the test of time.
Like Bob Pettit.
Like Andre Drummond.
Yes. Andre Drummond.
Bulls legend right now. He had like 15, like 20 other game. So does that conclude our John Stockton rant?
I think so. That was like 20 to 30 minutes of just straight to John Stockton.
We appreciate you guys' insight, though. We love it. Thank you. In NBA news, we had Draymond Green is going to be reinstated.
Woo!
I don't know does that?
I can watch Warriors again.
Say, to be honest with you, I forgot he was gone.
I did too. I did
I
too. I'm not even gonna
forgot he
lie.
was
I
not.
was like, dang, that 12 games went by real quick, or 15, whatever it was. I was like, that was pretty quick.
Does this change the Warriors' outlook on the season, or
No, it makes them better.
should they be in the market to make a trade?
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. I mean, Kaminga got to get out of there. They don't. He doesn't even want to be on the team no more. That's just gonna
Yeah,
be.
I think so too. Where would you like to see Kaminga at?
I have absolutely no idea.
Would
Maybe the.
you like Pistons?
Okay, Warriors just can't keep sending their rookies to freaking the Pistons. Um, maybe the Rockets.
Nah, the Rockets kind of got because they got like Cam Whitmore and Sengun,
Yeah,
Jabari. Because if he's already complaining about playing time, then you're definitely not going to get any with the Rockets because they got a lot of young stars. They want to get them playing, and like I said, they just drafted Jabari Smith last year. Then they got Cam
yeah.
Whitmore. They draft Sengun still
I
there.
have
So
maybe the Wizards. I guess. I really just.
yeah,
I really have no place for that guy. Like
he
I
has a
don't
weird play style. I can't really.
because all the young teams already kind of have a power forward type of guy. You know,
Yeah, he
Jabari
has a
Smith
weird.
Jr., Bancaro,
He has a
freaking.
weird play style. I don't really know how to. I don't know if he's not a run and dunk man, but like I don't really know how to put my finger on how his play style is. I want to think he's kind of like an Obi Toppin type of
That's
mold.
that. That's what I was thinking.
I want to say that he's kind of like an Obi Toppin type of guy, but I'm
But
also not sure.
not as good of a dunker as Obi Toppin.
You think so? Oh yeah, Obi Toppin. Nah, never mind. Obi Toppin,
Yeah.
his dunks.
Where would I want to see him go to?
Um, maybe I'm trying to think of some team. Maybe Pacers.
Yeah, but they already got like Obi Toppin, so like.
That would be. They need defense. We'll think about
But you also
that.
got to think, you want him to go this place, but you also got to think, can that team even give something up?
Like
You know,
the Jazz,
Jazz already have John Collins, Walker
but the
Kessler,
Jazz are looking to trade
Marketing.
John Collins.
Yeah, that is true. I mean,
But
yeah,
you could trade.
but I don't.
I mean, this is a pie in the sky, obviously pie in the sky, guys. You could trade. I mean, you could. Let's see. I don't know how the salaries match up. I'll have to obviously go play on like the little ESPN trade machine. You could trade Laurie Markkinen for, I don't know. You could trade away Jonathan Kuminga and Andrew Wiggins for Laurie Markkinen, and
Yeah, you could definitely. Andrew
you could
Wiggins
do
makes
that.
more than Laurie.
So you could do that, and
I forgot Andrew Wiggins is on that team. That's how bad he is.
yeah.
Man, what happened? I was so happy for him to be good again.
And some more NBA news. We got
Ja Morant
John Morant out for the season. That sucks. That really sucks.
Dang, Grizzlies.
So Q, go ahead and pay up that money, buddy. Go ahead.
What was his bet? What was his bet? I gotta go back and look.
He said that the Grizzlies were going to finish with a better record
Than the Lakers?
So
Yeah.
the way the Lakers are playing,
How much did he bet us?
He said $20. We said $20
Each?
I believe it was going to
both?
be each. He was gonna be each.
Man.
So tell him,
Got
bring
me a
me
free
my
meal
money.
right there.
What
Yo,
else
if they
happened?
actually still finish higher than the Lakers?
Lakers, bruh. We would have to both forgive. He won 40, but Q should already know. Q should already know not to bet with me. I always take his money.
Let me give you some things. Bulls suck. Trade your team. Nets suck. You gotta do something to get better. I want y'all to be good. Raptors suck. Trade Pascal. Atlanta sucks. I have no idea what to do. Hornets, you suck. Just wait for LaMelo. Get better, young guys. Washington, sell the team. Pistons.
So hold on. I do want to get into something
problem.
before we roll out of here today, right? So I wanted to talk about some NBA what ifs. We only have 10 of them, but we're gonna like compare which ones are better, or
Dang,
which
before
one.
we get out of here, you got 10 what ifs. That's a lot. Dang. All right.
But like we're like it's gonna be 2 and 2. So realistically, it's only gonna be like 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, which NBA will be the bigger NBA what if?
Oh, which one would be bigger?
Yeah, like what is the bigger NBA what if to you? Like,
Okay.
yeah. So the first one. So let me see. Sorry, I'm trying to look through them. So we got what is a bigger NBA what if? What if the Phoenix Suns drafted Luka instead of DeAndre Ayton versus what if Len Bias never passed away?
That's
I'm gonna say
Len Bias.
Len Bias because they said he was the next Michael Jordan.
They said he was the next Michael Jordan. He goes
They
to the
said about
Celtics.
everybody though back then.
Yeah, but look, he goes to the Celtics or whatever. They win more championships, and then
They at least win one more.
After Larry Bird retires, that's going to leave them with a decent team still with a superstar. You know,
I always wonder how that happened. Go ahead.
They made a trade with somebody, and it ended up just being a third pick or whatever. I think it was
because the Lakers won the chip, and then the very next year they got James Worthy in the draft, and I was like, how did that happen? How do you win the chip and then get like a lottery pick? That's so overpowered.
People were just trading away picks back then, I guess. Like,
so we're saying Len Bias. Okay.
I don't know how the trade went down. They probably traded like, I don't know, maybe like Milwaukee's first round pick for like $500,000 cash, something like that.
But could you imagine Luka and D Book?
Yes, that would be crazy, but I don't
insane.
even think that accomplished you a championship, you know?
No. So the next two is, what if the Pistons drafted Carmelo Anthony instead of Darko Milicic versus what if the Minnesota Timberwolves didn't pass on Steph Curry twice?
I'm going Carmelo.
I'm also going to go Carmelo.
Because
they could have won
Steph Curry,
at least another championship.
Steph Curry, don't get me wrong, was really good, but he dealt with a lot of injuries, right?
Early,
and the Warriors took a chance on him. So, because of that, Minnesota would mess it up and probably trade Steph Curry, and then it would not even matter for the Timberwolves. Carmelo going to the Pistons, they win that year.
Because they already won the previous year to the Lakers. They beat the Lakers. No, they beat the Lakers that year.
Yeah, that was that year. They would have won that year. They would have won that year, and then would have probably won the next year because next year was Miami, right? They would have beaten
because they won in
04, and then it was Spurs the next year.
Mm-hmm. Because the Spurs beat the Pistons.
Right? Yeah, and then so Melo, you probably beat Spurs.
Probably beat the Spurs. Yeah, that would have been.
But then
crazy.
The year after that, you would beat that Miami Heat team, and then you would go on to play the Dallas Mavericks, who you would beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the year after that,
the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks. Oh yes.
Played Mavericks versus Miami, and then year after that, wait, who 2007?
Was
that
Spurs.
Also Pistons again? Was Pistons in the finals again?
No, 07 was the Cat. That was LeBron's first year that he went to the finals.
Right. Swept. You beat and you beat the Cavs. Because
you beat the Cavs, but I don't know if you beat the Spurs. So bare minimum, you at least win one extra championship. So instead of leaving with one, you have two. Because the Pistons back in the early 2000s, they were always either in the Eastern Conference Finals or in the NBA Finals.
Yeah. So it's either you win 4 or you win 2. I don't see no less than 2 because I don't see them losing to Miami if they have Carmelo.
They would have some Chauncey Billups, Carmelo Anthony, Rip Hamilton, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, Taurean Prince. Ooh.
Yeah.
Hindsight's 2020, man. All right, the next two we have is, what if the Blazers drafted Kevin Durant instead of Greg Oden versus what if the Golden State Warriors traded Curry and Klay Thompson for Chris Paul in 2011?
So Curry and Klay Thompson, they go to
Charlotte. And CP3 goes to the Warriors. I'll probably say I would probably say the Blazers.
Yeah.
Because KD with LaMarcus Aldridge, and then Brandon Roy. Then they had Brandon Roy too, right? Or was Brandon Roy already gone? Was he already
No,
kind of
Brandon
like?
Roy was not gone. Brandon Roy was
Was
like an
he?
all-star 2009.
Was he already kind of like washed a little bit though? Because I
No, he
remember.
wasn't washed yet. He got injured in 2009, I'm pretty sure.
Cause I know in 2013, I remember he
Wait,
was
or was he drafted in '09? Wait.
Brandon Roy.
Brandon Roy, because I think he was in Curry's draft class. I might be wrong.
My kids will
I,
never know anything about Brandon Roy.
I could be possibly wrong, but
Let me look it up just really quick. I'm gonna look it up really quick. So he was drafted in 06.
oh 06, okay.
Oh, not 08, 09 is when he averaged 22, and then 09, 2010 is when he averaged 21. So that was basically like his years of dominance.
Right.
And then because the very next year he only played 47 games, only averaged 12. And he retired, then came back.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so I think KD,
Yeah,
if you got
KD.
Brandon Roy,
Because what
KD,
am I supposed to get excited over? Freaking Monte Ellis, Chris Paul, and Andrew Bogut? Like, come on now.
you
No, I don't think Andrew Bogut was even there yet. I don't even know what their team was at that point.
David Lee.
David Lee, yeah.
Uh,
That's gonna
was
excite me. No.
Yeah, I don't know if Steven Jackson was still there. He always bounced around. Shout out Steven Jackson though. The next ones we got is ooh, I'm gonna win this. I already know my answer for this one. What if the NBA did not stop the Lakers from trading Chris Paul to the Lakers versus what if LeBron never leaves Cleveland for Miami in 2010? It's definitely Kobe in the Lakers and Chris Paul. That is the Go ahead. What is your answer before I sound off? Because
This
Chris
is a tough
Paul,
one. Because
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Chris Paul to the Lakers, that gets them another championship. At least one.
At least
But
one.
LeBron staying with Cleveland,
That changes his whole career.
that makes them lose 2 championships. They're like Miami Heat, they don't get 2 more championships. So you're taking away 2 championships? That's kind of a big deal.
And then Kyrie Irving will never go because
They would be a good team still.
they will be a good team. So you would never get Kyrie. So where does ooh. You might be cooking. I'm not gonna lie, you might be cooking on something.
So wait, who is right after Kyrie?
Didn't they get Tristan Thompson?
No. Who was like the second overall pick in his what year was that?
Kyrie. So I'm gonna look it up really quick again. Yo, that would
I
be
think it's 2011. So that means Kyrie probably goes because back then the draft was more curated to the worst team getting the first overall pick. Better, most odds.
So
I mean, he still has the most odds, but
Kyrie would have
lesser.
never went to the Cavs. Let me see. I'm gonna look it up really fast. So Kyrie, if Basketball Reference ever freaking lose, that would be crazy.
Minnesota. Okay, I was right. Yeah. Okay. Minnesota had the number 2 pick.
So Kyrie with Kevin Love.
Yeah, Kyrie, Kevin Love.
Kyrie and Kevin
what the heck? That's crazy.
Yo, that's actually pretty wild. Cause yeah. So does that mean because then the Cleveland wouldn't also have the 4th pick then?
No.
So that means so everybody will just move down a spot.
I mean, yeah, hypothetically speaking.
Or every team will move up a spot. I think that's how it works. And just take the Cavs out. But I feel like, if you give I feel like Kobe would leave with then 6 rings. So now he's really catapulted into the GOAT conversation. Chris Paul has a ring, so we look at him differently. Dwight Howard would have 2 rings. Because let's say he would hypothetically win when I don't even know. That would be crazy. I'm going Lakers. Chris Paul going to Lakers. That's a really
What year was DeMar DeRozan drafted? 2010 or 2012?
DeMar DeRozan. I think it was probably 2010. Yeah, because then
if Cleveland keeps LeBron, Minnesota would not have the 2nd overall pick. It'd be Toronto because Cleveland was the worst team in the Eastern Conference. Toronto was following. I'm pretty sure. I'm not double checking this really. Meaning Toronto would get more losses, and Toronto would be the worst team in the conference, making them higher odds to get the
Get the
first
number one
overall pick. Yeah, because you're taking out Cleveland's first and fourth pick,
Right.
and then Toronto, because it goes Minnesota, Utah. So then Toronto
Right.
would probably jump up and get that first overall pick, get Kyrie, DeMar DeRozan.
That would change everything because Kawhi Leonard then wouldn't go to Indiana.
He wouldn't go to
He wouldn't go to Indiana. And then Klay Thompson's not going to Golden State because the whole draft order shifted. So Klay Thompson's not going to Golden State. Kemba Walker's not going to Charlotte. Vucevic is not going to Philly. Dang.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Jimmy Butler's not going to the Bulls. Wow. That'd be insane to think about. And the last two we have is, what if the Hornets never traded away Kobe Bryant to the Lakers? And what if the Portland Trailblazers drafted Michael Jordan instead of Sam Bowie?
I'm going with Portland because they already had a good team over there.
Yeah, I'll probably go Portland too.
And also, Michael Jordan is already going to be that guy. He's already. Yeah. But Kobe, he was going to be that guy, but he had to be around the right team, the right people. Charlotte, they're ruining that guy.
Yeah, they had that. Yeah, they had the right system for Kobe. Kobe got in with the perfect organization. He got in with the perfect organization, and then the very next, a year or two after that, they got shot. And then history was made. So
yeah, man.
That's all the what ifs I have. Is there anything else you have for us tonight?
Nah, that's really it.
For all you John Stockton meat riders out there, hope you guys have a great night. And we'll be back with you guys next week. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Push out more content for you guys. Make sure you guys have 50 subscribers, and we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll hand out John Stockton t-shirt giveaways.
Oh yeah, this little scab on my face because I ran into a door.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I was wondering. I was like, when did he get that mole? But I was like, oh yeah, we're playing. Safe to say, I'm basically like today's version of Alfred Sengun.
No, you're not.
And the guy next to me is basically like today's Cameron Thomas. He chucks.
I'm good on defense though.
He will shoot everything. He is Michael Never Swing the Rock Porter Jr. This is him. He will always shoot no matter what.
Bro, you got non-basketball players guarding me. That's not defense.
You give him this much room,
I'm getting the shot off.
He's shooting it, bro. If you pass him the ball and he only has I can't give him. No.
That joint's hitting the net. Right in. Splash.
Nah.
Bro, I hit multiple game winners. Jingle bells. Jingle bells.
Man was looking like prime Joe Harris out there.
I got in the game and I won them the game.
John Stockton, we're calling you out. You get
John Stockton, I want the 1v1. You know what's crazy though? I did look up on YouTube John Stockton earlier, and our video was like, I think like 15th video down. Man, no one making videos on John Stockton.
John Stockton, we want that one-on-one. You and Jaden.
Want the 1v1.
We'll think of something.
I think he's like 61 right now.
He probably still got it. Probably. That's all we have for you guys. Catch y'all next time on this episode After the Whistle.